What's up, YouTube? We are back, but this time playing a completely different game than Helldivers 2. We're playing Arc Raiders. I have been absolutely blasting through the main release of Arc Raiders. We played previously like 140 plus hours of the Surface Slam and Tech Test 2, and now we're in the main game. I think as of finishing today, I should be around 50 hours. I haven't logged off today, but I've been playing for 12 hours. I know. I'm absolutely addicted to this game, and I absolutely love it. I kind of wanted to put this video together as like a, what have I learned? What do I wish I knew? And what am I looking forward to? What am I pushing towards? What kind of progression I would recommend? And like, what am I finding that works versus doesn't work? So starting off, like, what do I wish I knew? The biggest thing is like, I kind of like forgot about tracking resources. What it will do is it'll put a little eye symbol on all of the materials that are needed for that particular item. I would at least do the level up for your benches, because getting your benches online can help you a lot on those resets or when you need to craft something like a new gun part or just even new guns. Say you really love certain explosives, you can start like making sure you track them and have the ability to craft them. You will be getting a lot of blueprints down the road that allow you to craft things. Obviously the Osprey, I think everybody and their mom has the Patina one. By doing quests, you'll be unlocking like the Hull Cracker blueprints. So if you're wondering like, why the hell am I doing these quests? You will get quite a few of them just through going through quests. Like I'm pretty sure Stable Stock comes from a quest as well. But I would recommend going for your benches. They're awesome. And they might not be necessarily like items that you know you might be gathering, like some like oddities that maybe you don't always pick up. Would maybe include like rusty gears. You might see the rusty gear and be like, oh, I don't need this, can be recycled for crafting materials. You actually need rusty gears eventually. You know, you won't need them in the early game, but you'll eventually need them for upgrading your bench to tier 3. So unfortunately, I've been getting very unlucky for the rusty gears, but it is what it is. Another big one to get online is your refiner. This used to have a timer on it, so you could only refine so many things so fast. It was really annoying, but now it is a hell of a lot faster. Trying to get those last couple bombardier parts so you can make like the power rods, you can like upgrade your armor and just run better armor, and yeah, things of that nature. Stash size, if you guys haven't noticed, there is a big expand stash in the top. It goes from 5k, 20k, 40k, 60k, 90k, 130, 200k, and it's 24 slots per. It's 280 slots at the moment is the max stash size. I wish it was more. Some top tips for like managing your stash though, if you have attachments. So say I have this grip here, I can look through my weapons and I could be like, okay, let's see. Oh, I have a weapon that doesn't have a grip, and I can put these on there. So you can actually save a lot of room in your stash by doing things like that. Another thing is I am guilty of not doing this, but I craft too much and it just sits in my inventory. Sometimes it's better just to kind of hold off on crafting, because some things are very expensive per slot. So like a heavy shield, for instance, is a lot more expensive than like the components that it takes to craft it, for instance, right? So sometimes just not crafting it, especially the things like this, is huge. Highly recommend. So some other things are like trying to use your keys. I highly recommend using your keys at night. Those are definitely the best times to use them, because if you haven't noticed, it says it in game, but night raids require a little bit of extra caution because it's so dark, but also you get bonus loot in return. So highly recommend using them then. If you're doing daytime raids, bring a hatch key. That helps you get out when you're doing your key stuff. But if you're doing it at night, you can't do that. But maybe what I would recommend doing is, if you're hearing a lot of gunfighting, go to the other extract, because most of the PvPers are going to be attracted to the gunfights. Stay away from them if you're trying to get out with your good loot. Regularly, I try to not hold on to more than like 3 stacks of the normal materials. You just don't need really more than that. I'm planning on crafting some bandages, that's why I have a little bit extra here. But yeah, no more than 3 stacks of most things, unless you find that, hey, I upgrade a lot of weapons, so I'm gonna hold on some more of that. So yeah, rubber ducky collection, fantastic if you haven't done it already. They do show up in your stash or like your raider hideout. You can see them all on the shelves behind me, which is pretty funny. I love that. Next, going into skill tree, because I know many people are going to be asking all these questions of like, where's the skill tree? Where's the skill tree? So I took a different route than I thought I would, just kind of experimenting and trying new things. I'm level 42. I know I've been playing a lot. I was going to go for the youthful lungs. I didn't feel like I really needed it. I don't know if they've made changes, but stamina has been less of a concern for me personally and my group. So I didn't end up up taking it. I ended up going immediately to Looter's Instinct. Such a good quality of life. You're probably looting about almost 50% faster at times, it feels like. It's really, really, really nice. Highly recommend. I would say I kind of made a mistake going for 5 Silent Scavenger. I'm not noticing the looting quieter difference, at least from my perspective. Maybe my enemies can't hear it from as far, but from my perspective, it's hard for me to notice the difference of 5 points. So I probably would have invested more into Agile, Croucher, and Revitalize Squat, but even though I didn't even really notice 4. I gotta say, some of these perks don't always have the most benefit. One that really does in the early game is in-round crafting, be able to craft bandages and shield batteries and the occasional grenade and stuff like that. Fantastic. Next, I went for Suffer in Silence and then Broad Shoulders. Broad Shoulders is probably the most impactful outside of Marathon Runner, which is what I grabbed really early on, like one of my first 6 points. Another really impactful one right after is Looter's Luck. This might sound like not that good, but basically what it does when it fills up and you've uncovered the first piece, you can automatically uncover the next thing over. And it seems like it has a 25 to 33% chance of happening. It will make your overall looting experience, as long as the container is large enough, about 25 to 33% faster than it already was. If I loot a knocked out raider, I can loot them in half the amount of time of a teammate that didn't go down this tree. It's insane. I love it. I gotta say, I was pretty disappointed with Traveling Tinkerer. Basically what it allows you to do is build a bunch of traps if you want them. There's a bunch of traps that you can craft, blaze and explosive and jolts and stuff like that on the go, which is cool, but it's honestly not that good. But the one thing that you will be able to start making is agave juice if you care. It's just healing out of agave. And then the other one is hatch keys. But to build a hatch key, it's the exact same as in your workshop. If you guys are unaware, it is 1 advanced electronical component and 3 sensors. That's not something you're gonna reliably find in a raid. So I gotta say, I was pretty disappointed when it wasn't I thought I'd be making the better shields, and I thought I'd be making more interesting things in general. But honestly, you might not even want to spend the 1 point if what you found wasn't that good. Didn't go for the 1 raider at the moment, just because raider containers aren't that common, and I didn't know how big a small chance was, so I didn't take it. Stubborn Mule, I don't find myself getting overcovered that much, but it does really help with keeping your stamina up. I'll be honest, 3 deep breaths, I don't really know what it does. That's why you don't see me investing 5 points in it. I just don't know what it does really. I think it's it says, well, after an ability drains your stamina, you recover more quickly. I think after you do a roll, your stamina will jump up faster immediately after. I don't know what the game considers an ability. Is it this fancy leaping rolls and vaulting springs and stuff like that? Or is it just rolling? Is it vaulting? I don't quite know. It didn't seem very noticeable to my overall stamina, so I only put 3 in it. I ended up putting a couple more in Agile, and we just got Security Breach. I haven't tried it yet. I'm gonna test it out on stream tomorrow. Come by the stream, both on YouTube or on Twitch. Remember, on my YouTube channel, it's a secondary channel just for streaming. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna start moving towards the prying, proficient prior, and the gentle pressure, just because breaching is extremely loud in this game. So I think getting these 2 to 5 and 5 would be really useful. I'll probably have to decide between these 2, Fight or Flight or Blastborn, probably more angling towards Fight or Flight. Used to the weight, I think is very good for heavy shield users like purple, but if you're just using medium to light, I would not recommend. The end goal, at least on conditioning side, would probably eventually get to loaded arms, but you're probably not gonna get that much farther because I am gonna invest some more in mobility. I at least wanna grab the 5 here and then split the 5 between these 3 and then grab these 2 and then, fill out conditioning. We'll see. I'll check back in maybe a week or so and I'll let you know what I did, but that's my skill tree as of late. Just a heads up for traders, if you haven't noticed, you can spend assorted seeds and you can buy things. I would recommend maybe stocking up on some of the later game materials early. It goes on a 24-hour cooldown. It goes on cooldown and comes off in 3 hours and 39 minutes for me. And sometimes you'll actually find quest items in here. I remember I bought batteries really early on to help me with the battery quest. So if you ever need something from a quest, check here. And just in crafting in general, it's really nice to have. Obviously, everything else also has a timer for this stuff. So if you just want to have 3 good games of medium shields and you can't quite craft them reliably, you can always do that. So keep that in mind. One thing now I just mentioned about crafting medium shields is they're incredibly easy to use and make once you get tier 2 and you're able to craft medium shields, because it's just arc circuitry, which is from any probe in the game. Those ones that come land or the ones on the ground. You'll end up getting dozens of them if you're just paying attention to them, and 4 batteries. Very easy to craft. Another top tip though, for blue shields are not worth repairing because it is 1 arc surgery and 1 battery. If you noticed on the previous page, it was 1 arc circuitry and 4 batteries. Batteries are not hard to come by. They fall from the sky in the mid game, basically. So delete your shield, and you might be like, wait, why? Look what you get. You get the expensive part of the shield back. So if your shield is like sitting at 40%, you're like, can I go another raid with it? Or should I like repair it? Don't repair it. Just build a new one. It'll be 100% durability every time you craft it. Highly, highly recommend. It will make a big, big difference. If you're still running green though, I would always recommend going in with 100% shield, or at least as close to 100 as possible before wasting materials. That being said, the materials don't go down if it's not the full 50%. So I would never recommend repairing something if it's like 70%. Wait for 50 or lower. Talking about weapons now, there's some that I really like and there's some that I really don't like. You could probably tell which ones I really do like based on how many I have. Love the anvil. It feels like a pharaoh, but faster fire rate. Feels great. You can actually check out the damage on them, and you can see 40 damage for the anvil. And if I have a pharaoh here, you'll see 40 damage as well. I think there obviously is some damage range differences. Obviously bloom differences. The pharaoh is a lot more accurate, especially at longer ranges. So if you're going for sniping, obviously the pharaoh is better for that. But I absolutely love the anvil. I love it for peak battles, especially in a third-person shooter, because it's a third-person shooter and a lot of people are going to be like hiding behind cover. You peek out, take a shot, go back into cover, and you just keep doing that over and over, and you can dish out so much damage per individual peak, whereas other players will be having more trouble if they have like a pistol or a Tarante or something like that. Renegade also is a good peak battle weapon, but having at least in the early game heavy ammo, you deal so much extra damage to those like annoying hornets and stuff like that, that I just love the anvil for the early to mid game. Feels amazing. Obviously with the new blue gate map, the Osprey is king. It is extremely good. Obviously also doing 45 damage per shot. Really big upgrade over the pharaoh, getting the scope. It feels amazing on blue. It doesn't always feel good in mid range because I find because you have to go first person to shoot it, the pharaoh actually wins at close to mid range as far as sniping, but at extreme different distances, the Osprey wins big time. It's super, super good. Volcano doesn't feel as crazy as it once did in the original tech test, but it is still extremely nice for the close combat situations. But I will say the king of close range in the early game is a Stitcher. I've been using the Stitcher for a while now. It's fantastic as your close range option. Really good in those shotgun battles. Obviously, this will depend on if you're peak shooting or, you can actually take a gun battle, how good is your tracking, but really nice. The Arpeggio doesn't feel great in the first couple levels, but as you upgrade it, it feels a lot better because if you guys haven't noticed, it gains a lot of fire rate per individual level. Same with the Anvil, but it feels even more impactful on that particular one. Venator has been absolutely frying in the mid to close range, especially when people put on the really big magazines. Very scary weapon to go up against, especially if they start hitting headshots on you. Renegade is great as always, and we have our purple weapons. Bobcat is just a better Stitcher. It's really fun. Tempest is just kind of like a better Rattler in every way. But if you're wondering which weapons I really recommend starting off with, it's like Pharaoh, Stitcher, Kettle. I don't have any kettles here, but really good. And the reason why I'm particularly mentioning these ones is they're very cheap to upgrade and to maintain and to use. Whereas the Rattler actually is a more expensive early tier weapon. That sounds really odd, but it is. So that's why I actually recommend these 3 weapons right off the hop. The Rattler also doesn't feel very good until you upgrade the weapon because it upgrades the magazine. You can't actually put a bigger magazine on it. Also, don't be afraid to do free loadouts. Free loadouts are extremely stress-free in a way. You can get away with some silly things, and honestly, with my stash, you might be like, oh, you probably never use a free loadout anymore. I still do. If we lose a raid and we just want to get up into the next raid immediately, it's like 3 buttons and you're back in. And there's a fun process of starting from a free loot, gaining some more loot, killing a team, taking their stuff, and just getting more and more. And then eventually you have an all new kit just sitting in your inventory. That's where a lot of these weapons have come from, is the snowball of a free kit, which is awesome. As far as what I go in with, I usually grab a full stack of shield rechargers, a full stack of regular bandages, maybe a better bandage that I'll use in combat just to get me up higher. I love smoke grenades. Another big top tip if you have never used them. They are stupidly easy to craft, especially if you pick up the occasional chemical. Little smokes. Yeah, they only last 6 seconds, but man, these are awesome to throw at your feet while you're running away. And that might be like, well, it's kind of like leaving a bread trail. If you're out in the open, this thing will save you 9 times out of 10. Also, you can use it to bait your enemies in doorways and stuff like that. They might think that you're running away, but you're actually just holding the angle and they run through the smoke and you get them. Be careful though, in close range, sometimes people on very low graphics can see through smoke. So be very careful of that. That may happen to you. Hopefully they can address that and fix that. But also for looting, the big smoke grenades, you'll eventually get a crafting recipe for them or just loot them. 20 seconds. When you're going to loot a body, throw a smoke grenade at the body. If you think there's people around looking at you. If you don't think there's anyone around, maybe don't, because at the end of the day, it is a big plume of smoke. It might attract people to you, so be careful. Another one that I was sleeping on very early is the lure grenade. The lure grenade seems kind of stupid, but if there's a rocketeer on you, you throw this in the opposite direction, it will chase the lure grenade down and try and kill it, giving you plenty of time to get into cover and get off of you. Because I'm sure many of you have died to a rocketeer. They are terrifying. Be careful. Having a zip line every once in a while in your safety deposit box on your person is useful just for good rotations. If you're in Raider versus Raider combat, you can grab some high ground, or you can just get the hell out of there. It's essentially like a fast travel out of combat. You are quite vulnerable, so try not to be in such a position where they can shoot you super easily, but honestly, really nice. As you're running away, you can set up door blockers, or if you're just like super scared of people pushing you, door blockers are very nice for like when you're looting a stash or you're looting like a loot room and you're like, I don't want anything to push me right now. Honestly, very good pickup as well. I don't see many people use them. Barricades are another one. You can use them to actually block doorways, which is pretty funny. In the decks, you can get a lot of really early game materials and like really nice stuff, honestly. Pretty early on, you know, you'll start getting like the lootables, even the snap hook. You can get some really cool stuff, so I would recommend looking at those little ones. A little tip for those that are looking for some extra bonus loot: this is the trials. They unlock a level 15, and you'll do like opening arc probes, destroying ticks. In a match, you have to do this, and it's based on your entire team. So if your team does damage to arc, another teammate does damage to arc, you do damage, it's cumulative. Also, you'll see in the bottom left hand corner that green 2 times for major map conditions, night raids. So if you do these in night raids, they're much easier to do, and you'll get lots of free loot. You can get blueprints from this as well. It seems random what you get, but there's some very good rewards from it. Would recommend night raids though. Highly recommend. And for those wondering like, what is this ranking stuff and what is this? Basically, it picks 100 people that recently got level 15, it seems like, around you. And then you're put into a ranking and you want to hit top 30 or top 60 to rank up. And essentially it's just cosmetics. As you rank up, more cosmetics unlock until eventually it's like a top 100. You don't have to care about it, but it is like a weekly bonus loot that if you can interact with that at level 15. So when you get level 15, you'll start seeing these pop up. It is not retroactive, so if you've killed a ton of ticks at level 10, they will not show up there. They start tracking afterwards. I wouldn't really worry too much about projects. This is kind of like the end game loop later. Maybe keep those cooling fans. Just a heads up, I'm in tier 2. You do need cooling fans. But yeah, I wouldn't really worry too much about that. That's the end game prestiging. We don't have to really worry about that for another like 50 days or so. But yeah, hopefully you guys found this video interesting. Overall, I'm absolutely loving it. Come by the streams. I'm streaming 3 a.m. EST to about 3 p.m. EST. I've been doing an average of 12 to 14 hours a day the last couple of days. I am addicted to this game. Feel free to come in and just ask questions. And yeah, hope to see you guys on the stream, either on YouTube or on Twitch. Much love, YouTube. Thanks for watching. Consider liking, subscribing, commenting down below if you guys have any questions, or coming by the live stream Discord, also linked down below. Peace. Bye, everybody.